Did you want to share anything, Kevin, or what's going on in the UK over there?
Well, it seems some of my work colleagues have finally stumbled across my Facebook page, and they've all been mentioning it to me at work, and I've had all various questions pertaining to the subject matter that I've been sort of mentioning on there, so that's quite a good thing. I think those the videos, those little video things that I've been doing recently are quite effective. I mean, I did consider them doing them a long time ago, but then I didn't, and then recently I saw on one of the messages on the Skype that Kelsey was suggesting that based on a recommendation by Rebazar that all the new friends do so, because it would seem that people can relate to them better if they can actually see the person's face. So I thought, I'll give it a go, and they seem to be received quite well, and I've had quite a lot of comments and quite a lot of feedback, and as I said, all of a sudden my work colleagues are suddenly aware of it as well. So maybe I might get a few more people in the UK coming on board to the UK Skype Zooms perhaps. So that's all been quite positive, I suppose.
Yeah, I was seeing on your videos, which are really cool. Yeah, the comments are really cool. Yeah, people like grateful for your videos, and it's cool. There are a lot of people paying attention to what we're doing that are not necessarily like joining the calls and communicating with us just yet. They're taking things at their own pace, and that's fine. Everybody knows, what to do according to where they're at. So yeah, it's cool. I spoke to Olga today. I don't know how it came up, but I shared one of your videos, Kevin, in a group, and she said, like, what happened to the clutter room? Because you've got a sheet behind you. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was going to be my little trademark to always be in my cosmic clutter room. But then my sister sort of mentioned how unsightly it looked. I mean, it wasn't too bad. It's just a lot of stuff all crammed into one little room and all the computers, and so I draped a sheet across in front of it to conceal it all. And yeah. But,
well, I think it's more. There's more character without the sheet, Kevin.
Yeah, I found it quite difficult to actually do, because usually when I do the radio shows, or if I'm recounting my dreams on the Skype calls, I usually have them pre-written and I just read them out. But I suppose I could have had something written and just referred to my notes, but I thought I'd present myself with a challenge and just do stuff off the top of my head. And I had a vague notion of where I was going to go, and just to see how it went from there. And quite interestingly, when I did the first one, it had a lot of sort of mistakes in it, and and a few places where I was bumbling about, and then I lost track of my thought. And I was just at the point where I was going to edit out all the mistakes, and suddenly I had a very strong thought form go through my mind, telling me to leave the mistakes in. And I wondered, I wonder where that came from. I had the impression it was possibly from a guide sort of thing, and I was thinking that I suppose leaving the flaws and the bumbles and the bits where I lose track of my thought flow probably again makes it so people can relate to us a little bit better as well, rather than sort of striving for perfection, which is probably an unrealistic ideal in creation, that's for sure. And so I left all the bits in where I at one point in my last video I completely lost track of my thought, and I had to sit there for a few moments. I had a little sip of my lemon tea, and then I started going, that's what I was saying, and I proceeded. So I thought that was quite interesting. So I think I had a little message from a guide possibly telling me to, yes, leave the flaws in. So I did.
Yeah, that's cool. It's fine. And you just get better too. It's like Dwayne says, when someone asks him a question on the Skypes, he doesn't know what he's going to say, but he just starts talking, and he'll bring it around to, to the ears and what makes sense, all the time. And you just kind of get better as you keep going, and bring some humor into it too. But yeah, it's cool that you started making those videos. Yeah, you're leading by example there, Kevin. The new leader, Kevin, making lots of videos every day. It's really cool. We last week on Tuesday, or this week on Tuesday, there's a farmers market downtown here, just a few blocks away from us in Huntington Beach, and so we go with the visitor from another galaxy, and he's there, and so he's walking around, and he's got these little cards he shows people because he can't really talk, and there's lots of people looking at us because he wears this sign that says "Are you tap line?" And so people are like, "What's tap line?" And so Kelsey, myself, and Eric are around, and Eric's his security guard, and Kelsey and I are holding some cue cards business cards that say, what does it say? It says, "Sing new you and wake up to become more aware. All life is awareness." And then at the bottom there's a website called www.watchyourdreams.strikingly.com. So we had lots of kids asking us. The younger people are really open to like teenagers, young adults, to hearing what we have to say. And they ask like, "What is tap line?" So I'll tell them, and I'll give them a card, tell them that you can sing New You and see your tap lines. I usually explain it like in the Matrix. That's the easiest way to explain to people what tap lines are. Like Neo wakes up into the Matrix, and those are his tap lines that are holding him in there. And so you can see them when you're asleep by singing the New You. And so yeah, some people, they're like, "Wow, that's really cool." One guy even said to me last week, he was probably in his young 20s. He says, "Oh, wow, that's so cool, man. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I totally see what you mean." He's like, "Wow, and I can do this, and you're giving this away for free?" It was so funny. But what I was going to say is there are these two young guys, probably about my age, and they were asking us some questions, and they said, "What's your favorite YouTube channel?" Because they wanted to learn more about what we're doing. And so I told them, well, Kelsey's is pretty cool because Kelsey was right there. And then I think Kelsey said, "Yeah, and new Kevin Smith." And so they went and wrote it down straight away, like new Kevin Smith. And I was like, "Yeah, NU Kevin Smith." So we'll talk to them next week on Tuesday, and I'm sure they would have watched some of your videos, Kevin. Yeah, it'll be cool. I see you're getting more and more subscribers all the time, so it's really cool, and I share your videos around, and yeah, I like your little clutter room. It's you've got lots of knowledge there, and the books and inside your mental body, and you're just sharing. It's really real, and it's really, really cool. You could maybe, if you remove the sheet, you could maybe set up the new books kind of like somewhere that makes them obvious or something.
Yeah, I had heard that there was a lot of people were saying the problem with YouTube is that it's so very heavily monitored and controlled with these strange AI algorithms that it sort of categorizes people into areas of interests that they have already expressed, and so it makes it very difficult for people to find something they haven't already looked at. And obviously, on top of that, a lot of people are suggesting that YouTube, that which controls it, makes it removes material they would consider sensitive or material they wouldn't want people to hear. So I was getting a little bit disheartened with YouTube as a result, and so recently I've gone on to BitChute, and I seem to be getting far more attention from my videos there. And it's very easy to do as well, because with your YouTube account you can automatically link it to a BitChute account, and so everything you upload onto YouTube automatically goes onto BitChute. So I tried another one as well. It was called Minds as well, Minds, but I think there's so few people on that there's there's literally thousands, I think, not many, and so that's not quite as effective. But a lot of people are turning to these alternative the media platforms now that aren't so heavily regulated. And they even said the same thing about Facebook. A lot of people are saying that, again, these AI algorithms are making it so certain things are impossible to find by people. So you can be putting out all this endless stuff and literally nobody can find it, sort of thing. Or whereas before, maybe 3-4 years ago, it was far easier to stumble across a random sort of new presentation Skype. Because originally that's how I found the new presentation myself. I came across one of Anton's videos that he did. It's very possible now that unless I have looked at the material previously, the AI algorithms would have categorised me in such a way that I simply would not be able to find the stuff. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks. I haven't heard of BitChute, but what's your account name on there?
I put my name as Kevin's new nowness.
And how did you spell it? Nounness.
I've got my notes here. Let's see. Kevin's new nowness. I just said. Let me log it onto here because so I get it right. My computer here. That won't be a second.
Maybe if you could just drop your profile link in the description in the chat here, and maybe put it on your YouTube videos too. Yeah, that's cool. I'll start sharing those around on Facebook too. Yeah, because I've heard from what you're saying from a lot of people about the restricting, controlling bots of YouTube. A lot of people have been complaining about it. You know. I didn't know there was so many offshoots. I had heard of Brighteon, which is quite popular with people that want to wake up, apparently. So we're on there. But, yeah.
Yeah, these AI things are quite strange. As I said, they sort of group everybody together according to what they think they're interested in. But the problem with that is they then will conceal everything else that is outside of that which they think you will find of interest. So which, unless you have come across the new presentation stuff before and looked at it and therefore expressed an interest, it's very unlikely that new people will come across it because... But yeah, as I said, the new noun is I call myself it's Kevin's new noun list, and I put those little hyphens between the Kevin's, the new. I can write it here. It's like. Yeah, because a lot of the quite prominent sort of alternative researchers are turning to some of these things because they're saying their stuff is getting so heavily censored. And also the algorithms also picking out certain words, and if anything within your description of the video is one of these words, then your stuff will possibly be deleted, but also made it so no one can find it, and the list is getting ever longer. You know, what they consider or deem to be sensitive, which in other words is simply a means, an excuse and a justification for how they can suppress information. But theoretically on these other sites like BitChute and Minds, there's no such censorship in place. There's also another one called, I think it was Purple Mirror or something along those lines, Purple Mirror, Purple Reflection or something funny like that, but I tried looking for it and I couldn't find it. So but I think BitChute is the main one, so it's well worth sort of doing that. And I say once you link it up to your YouTube channel, your stuff will just go on there automatically. So there we go.
Yeah, that's cool. I still can't find your account now when I'm searching here. Maybe if you could just drop a link, would be cool. It says no results found when I search there. But, Yeah, that's cool. I'll try and do it for Kelsey's account here. It sounds like they've set it up well that you can transfer them over. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, we're trying to wake up the world here, and yeah, making videos is great. I need to definitely do more. But yeah, it's just the situation here. I have to find somewhere outside of the house probably, and there's people everywhere around, so I'll figure it out. But yeah, it's really cool to see your videos and Olga's too, and Eric in live today. So yeah, it's really cool. Really cool when people just share, no matter how long the video is. It's the world needs what's real, and yeah, it's just so cool to see other people share. It's like more support and it's more real. So yeah, it's super. We get more agreement and more agreement is better. We can do more. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the most common questions I am being asked recently on some of my videos is they're saying things like, where the claims that I'm making, even though they're not claims, but that's the way they put it, big claims along like those require big evidence, and they're sort of requesting that somehow I prove it to them. And all I can really say in response is that, well, sing the new you song and go to the real side and find out for yourself, sort of thing. But it's a very difficult thing to really prove to somebody, because you can't really sort of provide them with documents as such. You can't exactly sort of, pull a reptilian out of a closet and present it in front of the individual. And a lot of these people will not have the inclination to want to become aware and sort of see for themselves, and so they'll just remain in their self-convinced literalism, I suppose. But that's the biggest thing that I get in response is they sort of wish for proof and evidence and documents and things like that.
Yeah, people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Olga.
I was just going to say to that, that was quite funny actually, pulling a reptilian out of the closet. I couldn't stop laughing. But I've had that as well. Well, you've got to prove it. And I just asked them if they dream. Do you dream? And most people can remember some of their dreams, and usually the most traumatic ones, or the ones with the, biggest impressions. And I sort of go from there, and they start talking about it. And I just say to them, well, that's the real side, but you can actually see it a lot more clearer. Yeah, if you sing New You, follow Reba Sartars and the real guides, and see what happens. But there's your proof right there. And everyone dreams, whether they want to believe it or not. Everyone's had a dream at some time.
Yeah, everybody's having dreams every night. It's just whether they can remember it when they're back here in their physical body, where their focus goes when they wake up, and how strong that connection is. And it can be developed, or it can go the opposite way depending on like the focus of the individual. Yeah, prove it. It's like, well, you got to be open, and you got to be a risk taker to see it. Like Dean Val here, he doesn't really see on the real side, remember things very often, but he can see here, without the real side. He can see what makes sense here. And it's not about, people have all these ideas like, oh, well, prove it, or I think this, or, I've learned that. And, there's all these people that we see on YouTube comments and around, and they know better, and it's like, okay, well, that's fine. You decide your life. You can know better and go and you have fun with that. But realistically, when you really take the time to investigate, like reading the new books by Dwayne, it's so cool. It's so fun because he explains things so well, and he shares his experiences. So in such a cool way, and it's just real, you know, and it's up to each person to recognize that. And, you know, Dwayne says like he's not a used car salesman, so you know, it's like if someone says, "Well, prove that that car is is you know what you say it is." Well, yeah, you can drive it, you can test drive it, but do you have the awareness to drive it and understand how that car really works and drive it to the best of its ability? Or are you just going to get in that car and drive it like it's any other car? You know, like, are you going to sing the New You like it's any other song? Or are you going to sing the New You and be open to see whatever life's going to show you, and with a pure intent and a pure heart? And yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, so we don't really have to keep going if no one's got anything else to share, but I do see that Kevin just posted this in one of his videos here. He's only got 6 subscribers. I'm number 6 here on BitChute, but he's got 38 views on this video, accessing all lifetimes in the new nowness beyond cause and effect creation. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, if anyone wants to share anything else, it's been fun. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, on BitChute, I get about 3 times the numbers of some of my videos than I do on YouTube. One of my ones here, for example, has got 88, and for me, they're unheard of numbers. I usually sort of hang around the sort of 10 to 12 numbers mark sort of thing. So I think BitChute is certainly reaching a lot more people, and potentially there's a less control and restriction of that particular alternative media platform, and less of those sneaky AI algorithms lurking about and interfering. So it's definitely something we're worth pursuing and having a look at. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so maybe Olga and Eric and myself will have our own accounts this time next week. So, or 2 weeks from now, we'll have another call. So we'll see if the Iranians or Gloria shows up, and maybe some more Kiwis or Aussies will show up in that time too. But yeah, thanks for showing up, guys. It was fun, just like last week. It's a bit different, but it was new, and yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'll start off with the New You, and we can go around in a circle or intuitively take turns or something. So New You, you.
You.
New